Clutch, coming up big in the biggest games, shining when the spotlight is the brightest. Just some of the phrases sports fans across Canada and North America are using to describe what the Blue Jays are doing right now. And Marty, You know what Leaf fans are saying as they watch this unfold? Why can't the Leafs do this? Deliver when it matters the most. So Marty, here's the question. What can the Leafs learn from these Blue Jays and their run?
You got to have fun. Like when I look at the Blue Jays, they're having fun. They are all together. There's no arguing. There's no pointing fingers. They're just fun. And I learned something this week, Gino, is that the more a team touches, fist bump, high five, taps on the back, the more success they have. Look at these Blue Jays. They hug, they touch, they do all of it, and they're having so much fun and so much success. And look, you're going to lose heartbreakers. You're going to have bad plays happen. And it doesn't matter because as a team, you pick each other up. And so that's what's happening with the Blue Jays right now. And when I look at the Toronto Maple Leafs in the past years in the playoffs, it doesn't look like it's fun. Nobody's touching each other. Nobody is encouraging each other. So when you're watching the Blue Jays right now, there's one thing. It's sports. It's a kid's game, and it has to be fun. They're doing it right.
You know why it's not fun, Marty? Because of the media, because of the pressure from the fans. You know where I'm going with this. We've heard many a Leaf talk about the unbelievable pressure that comes with playing in the Toronto market. At the same time, we've heard Vladimir Guerrero Jr. say it's all about doing it for his teammates and for the fans. Marty, he loves the stage. He's loving it. You can't wipe the smile off his face, and he delivers. Can you teach a player to embrace the pressure and expectations, or is it the DNA, as Treliving explains it, just too far off the mark here on this team?
Well, the DNA is definitely a big part of how you handle the pressure, but I do believe that you can alter your DNA as you get older and as you feel the experiences of other and you're being mentored by other. And look, you know, the Blue Jays are Canada's team. There's not more pressure on the Blue Jays than thinking that the whole country is cheering for you. From East Coast to West Coast, from South to North Canada, everybody's cheering for the Blue Jays. When the Leafs are in the playoffs, yeah, it's big. It's Toronto. But I'm telling you right now, in Montreal and in Alberta and in British Columbia, they're not so much cheering for the Leafs, right? Because they have their own teams to cheer for. So I feel like the pressure can be part of your DNA, how you handle it. And I look at these baseball players and the fun they're having and the clutch plays they're making. Obviously, it's part of their DNAs. But you have to have that experience at some point, shape, or time in your life to say, hey, I learned how to do it. I learned how to win from losing, or I learned how to win from winning. And I look at the Leafs, it feels like they haven't learned much when it comes to that. And look, every year's a new year, something new can happen. They can learn, they can go through the playoffs, they can win a cup. They're that good of a team in Toronto with the Leafs. But right now and in the past, I haven't seen it, the fun and the learning to win with the DNA.
Okay, so something needs to change. Something needs to be fixed. Somebody needs to be brought in. How far away is this current Leafs team from being able to do what the Jays do, and that is embrace the pressure and deliver when it matters the most?
Well, obviously, the start of the season hasn't started the way the Leafs wanted to, and some of the comments in the media and some of the adversity that they've had to deal with hasn't really been what I would consider this a winning team right now. I think they still have a long way to go. And look, we talk about pressure and media pressure, right? Hockey is always going to be different than baseball, but this is the World Series. And you have Bo Bichette hurt, and he comes back, and it's no big deal. Nobody's questioning Bo Bichette. Nobody's questioning George Springer. Nobody's questioning anybody with the Jays. Why? Because they've done it. But when the Leafs right now and the Leafs of the past have had their hurdles or their injuries or their struggles, there's always a question, right? Because there's a reason for that question. That's why I feel like there's still a long way for the Leafs to learn. And look, maybe they turn it like this. I've seen it happen. St. Louis a few years ago, last to winning the cup. It happens. But you have to change your DNA or your approach to the games a little bit.
10 games in, the Leafs are barely over 500 after a relatively easy start to open the season in terms of their schedule. We can only imagine what will be happening in Toronto if the Leafs didn't have the Jays and their fans to distract them right now.